Well, I'm screwed for cash and so is everybody else. No one's got any money to spend on awesome toys anymore, so it's probably time to put on your worst clothes, swallow your pride and trot on down to Poundland. That glorious land of cheapo joy where, yes, everything's £1. That's right, it's knockoff time! So this cut-price ensemble appear courtesy of a Birmingham-based company called Funtastic. They seem to be the kings of cutting corners, but my god, can they ever think up a neat two-word phrase? There's no names on here and no instructions, just some really tacky but kind of old-school design. I'm going to kick things off with some upscaled Legends of Cybertron dudes. Now, everyone in the house say guy number 1, who I like to call Hot Scott. Even though you can see through him a little bit, he's kind of pleasing to look at, but that's before you try and do anything with him. The plastic just feels so flimsy and weak, and it doesn't weigh anything. I feel like I'm going to break this damn thing. Not that I really have to, it'll readily do that all by itself. Check out these little scars here. They're from where I picked off all the imperfections from the moulding. There's the remnants of one just there, if you can check it out. Easily the best one was actually on the joint where this back panel fits on. And this bit was actually separate to the figure in the packaging, which is hilarious. He also comes with this generic little rifle here, which he's got no way of holding. That's inspired. I do kind of like the alt mode on this toy, although it doesn't fit together very well, and the wheels are terrible, but it's a dead ringer for Excellion. Second up here is this guy, Sound Dave, with his sexy colour scheme of grey, yellow and brown. He's actually a considerable step up from the last guy. He feels fairly solid. Although if you check it out from behind, you can see how thin the plastic really is. So the robot mode is kind of nice, but the transformation is so hard! And without any instructions or even a picture to go by, I'd defy any kid to figure that out. For a weapon, he's got this oversized Micromaster Combiner handgun, which he can actually hold, but normally he won't. Nope. This is a terrible alt mode, but to be fair, it was awful on the original as well. If I was Johnny 6-year-old and I'd just spent 40 minutes trying to figure out how to transform it and ended up with this, I can see it getting stamped on. And with plastic as thin as that, it ain't going to be pretty. So as a non-transforming robot, this thing scores alright. But as a health and safety hazard, it's a 10 out of 10. This guy right here I like to call Conroy. In robot mode, he was actually quite convincing and his colour scheme's fairly accurate. But then when I tried to change him back from vehicle mode, the ball joint popped right off his left arm. So now that I've finished filming, I'm going to go and put him in the bin. Cracking on then. Also available at £1 a pop are these 2 packs of Legend Scale dudes. No snazzy backgrounds or 2-word power phrases for these, just a boring grey pack and a boring grey name. Megabots. These guys all suffer a bit from not having a lot of paint. Nobody quite as much as Stevac here. This guy's actually my favourite because, well, Evac's a really great toy to begin with and he's hardly any different. This guy right here is Hot Scott Part 2. Check this out, you actually turn the arms out and flip the hood back, which is totally different to the source material. Interesting, but still a piece of crap. 2-pack 2 consists of Thundercrack Earl and Fred Alert. Thundercrack Earl here is kind of a piece of crap. Everything from the neck down is a single block of plastic. He's got this totally extraneous little boner thing there, so the cockpit won't go all the way down. Still, the colour scheme's kind of nice. Very Skyfire-esque. Fred Alert is easily the best quality figure out of the lot. All his joints work and they're good and stiff, and he actually sports 5 colours. The wheels are moulded on solid there, but, you know, what are you going to do? 2 for £1. The last 2-pack was half full of Thundercrack Earl, so I only picked it up because I didn't recognise this little red guy right here. But it turns out it's just Larricade. There's a noticeable difference in the quality of this thing. It's just awful. The plastic's thin, it doesn't look any good, it doesn't hold together, it won't even stand up. The only way it could be worse is if it actually gave me herpes. As an experiment, I'm going to see if it's possible to actually crush this thing with my bare hands. Yep. Last thing I want to show you today is this speed racing robot. I had no idea what this thing was when I saw it in the package, but I was pretty sure it was worth 100 pence. It's got that clunky 80s charm you don't get much of anymore. Obviously it's flawed, but come on, it's still nice. I figured it was just a knockoff of some forgotten 80s robot, or maybe even an original mould. But I noticed this huge notch in the hood where something seems to clip on. All it came with is this really unconvincing little sword here. So I figured maybe it had some kind of accessory that was too complex to knock off for £1. Maybe some kind of transforming partner? Maybe it's only bloody G1 Getaway! Oh yes, it's a knockoff Getaway. What a treat for £1. Fortunately, the plastic and the construction is way superior on this one. I don't really understand it, but this thing is infinitely better than any of the others. The wheels all work. This bit's a bit weak, and so's this arm, but, you know, it was £1. What are you going to do? I never thought I'd ever get my hands on a Getaway, and I've kind of half wanted him for my entire life. I now at least have the figure, a lick of paint, and no one will know the difference. Brilliant. I'm not entirely unconvinced this sword isn't a knockoff or something. I don't know what it is. Do you? So yes, king of the knockoffs. And that's your lot. All of those guys cost me a total of £7. That's like half a Cyclonus. I've got to tell you, I'm pretty stoked to get hold of a Getaway in any form, but I really think I would have been better off spending that money on booze. These things are so nasty. Just don't bother with them, and for God's sake, don't buy them for your kids. These things will inevitably end up as jagged ruins, and your kids will get sliced to bits on them. Or they'll figure out that you're a cheapskate. Can you afford to take that risk?